So Git is a tool that tracks changes to source code. That is a version control system. Let's see a short demo of the very basics of Git, and I'll give you that demo in a terminal window. I have it here. I'll use the command line. Maybe you don't normally use the command line in your job. In that case, no worries. I'm using the command line here because I want you to see the commands and get used to the vocabulary of Git, but you certainly don't need to memorize the commands. It's even possible that you'll never use Git from the command line. Maybe you'll always use it through a graphical interface, integrated in Visual Studio, for example. So don't feel like you have to memorize this stuff, just follow along. And to make things more clear, I'll also visualize what I'm doing here on the right side of the screen. So let's say that I'm in this directory that contains an open source software project. In this case, the project happens to be a popular JavaScript framework, but that doesn't really matter here. I just went to the internet and downloaded the source code of the first open source project I could think of, just to have a real example. And I'll draw 3 files here on the right side of the screen to represent the files in this project. I just drew 3, but it's actually many more, and main directories too. Let's see. On the operating system I'm using, this command shows me the entire tree of files and directories, and see, there are thousands of directories and files in this project. Some files are source code, some are documentation, some are configuration maybe, like any non-trivial software project. Now, I want to use Git to manage this code. I already have Git installed on this system, so the first thing I'll do is to give this command git init. That means put this project under Git. In practice, I just created something called a repository, or a repo for short. That's a Git storage area. For now, don't worry about the exact location of the repository. We'll talk about it later. Let's say it's somewhere on my computer, and it's still empty because I just created it. And what the repo does is it can contain snapshots of my project. Let's see how.